Hi everybody, I'm Bill Sanders and this is Watch Art Sci, the art and science of watch collection. Today I want to talk about a new watch that is perhaps back to the future. It's a very interesting watch, and it's come out at a particular time in history that we'll talk about at least briefly. Now, in order to sort of work into this, I want to, there are three new watches by all different companies, and one I want to mention, two I want to mention briefly, and one I want to talk about in depth. Now, the first one is by MB&F, and it's a watch that you tell the time by looking at the side, and there they have a little window where you can see it. And so basically the idea is you just glance at it like that. The one by MB&F is called HM82. Now I chose the green edition because I like green. And it's got a Girard-Perregaux movement in it that has been modified to include jumping hours and some other things. And it's a really interesting looking watch. $78,000. Now that's more than I can afford, but moving right along. Now this next one is a Girard-Perregaux, and it's called Cassette 2.0. And there was an earlier one that was done. Actually, I think it was just a few years ago. Now this is a quartz watch, and you open it up, and there's quartz inside. I love the frequency of this. It's 32,768 hertz. So people talking about, like me, saying, "Oh, I like lower hertz," and talking about 2.5 hertz. I mean, and people say, "Well, I got something. I got 5 hertz, so I really got it made." So there's no way that our mechanical pieces of craftsmanship have the same kind of thing as quartz watch. But anyway, the Girard-Perregaux, this has also got a movement by Girard-Perregaux. It's called the GP3980, but it is a quartz movement. Okay, and it works the same way. It's got a digital readout window. Now, and it's $4,900. Okay, now this one is a new old one. There's a company called Amida that was around that made watch something like this, very much like this. I was looking at it yesterday, as a matter of fact. And it's the company is Amida, and it's sort of revived with a group of young men. And I met with them yesterday in New York, and it was wonderful. Enjoyed talking with them and their new watch. It's called Digitrend, and to understand it, it goes back to 1974. January 22nd, 1974 was where a U.S. patent had. Now, there was, I think, earlier in 73 it was filed and so forth, but it was a 1974 patent. And here it is exactly 50 years later in 2024. And they're bringing it out as sort of an interesting one. They use the term disruptive design to talk about it, and it works with a prism. You have the wheels here with the hour and minute on it, and then it goes up to a prism, and so that you can look at it from the side. Really an interesting invention. Now, and looking at the watch itself a little closer from the side, and the different parts of it, the way that you're supposed to look at it is like this. Now, on the side, there's you have a sort of a smooth, sort of futuristic from the 70s, I guess. Look, and you flip it over on the back, and it's the announcement, the Takeoff Edition. Now, the interesting thing about the Takeoff Edition is that they're selling it for, I think it was $2,900, which really, I mean, and it's a mechanical movement. So we'll talk about the movement a little bit later, but I thought it was really a very interesting one. Now, this is a picture. I went to New York yesterday and met with the guys, and they let me try it on, and I tried it out and so forth. And so you can see from the pictures, it's a prism. You can, the way it is right now with my great photography, it's a little warped, but you just move it a little, and you can. It's very easy to tell the time. And then on the back, it's got the flipped it over in the back. It comes with two types of bracelets. It comes with a rubber bracelet, and then it also comes with the metal one that's shown in the picture there. Here's another another shots of it. Now, the rubber bracelet is, you can see it. I tried it on too, and they both work fine. I probably I'm not sure whether I like the rubber or the metal bracelet. I like them both. I was just, it's a preference. I'm used to using leather or gator bands, but those are fine too. Okay, now the big thing with it for me it always is and always has been the movement, and so the movement in this is a Soprod Newton PO92, and I mention it because people say, "Oh, isn't that sort of based on one of the ETAs or something?" What seems to be based on the ETA is not the movement per se, but rather the movement dimensions. And Soprod has attempted to. This is the movement, and it's what most people didn't realize. Yes, it had the same dimensions as a popular ETA, and that was so that they could sell it to Swiss companies with the idea, well, it's just, it has the same dimensions as the one we've made a whole bunch of cases for, but it's different. And the reason it's different is that way back when, I don't know exact date on this, but Seiko decided to get into high horology. Now, for years, Seiko was famous for making very inexpensive mechanical watches and also very inexpensive quartz watches, but were good quality. And so then they decided, well, we're going to get into high horology. This is Seiko. Well, what happened when that happened, the people who were used to buying Seikos weren't used to paying the higher prices for the high horology that Seiko was trying out with their customers. So that didn't go over too well. So they thought, well, we're going to sell it. I'll sell it and see if we can sell it somewhere else, to the Europeans or elsewhere. And so this Soprod bought it. And the thing about the 4L, it had the same dimensions as this popular ETA. And so it became but it wasn't, like I said, it's not an ETA. It was this really nice little high horology disguised as a bargain movement. Now, so when a Soprod Newton, they told me, oh, it was a Soprod Newton. I've got nothing but good opinions about Soprod. And the PO9 has a lot, like I said, this is also in terms of the same dimensions. But when you look at it, it doesn't look the same. If you look at the Soprod PO9 up in the upper left corner there, and then you look at the engine in the Amida, it doesn't look a lot alike. I mean, you can see the rotor is hidden, and you can see the gear train doesn't go the same direction. You can't even see the balance. One thing I was looking for the balance. Well, it is a 28800 frequency. uh, what they've done is they put it together a really interesting way of taking the bass movement, but put it on a totally different metal base and sort of environment. They added the sapphire prism so that you could see these flat discs and you could look at it and see the time. They also modified it so you now have jumping hours rather than sort of, I guess, floating hours or gradually coming hours. Anyway, so this is essentially this new watch based on an older movement. Great price, and anyway, before I go, I had asked one of the three key people involved. It was the Mathieu Allegre, who is also the designer for Lurique watches. So anyway, so this is what he had to say.
Okay. All right. Let me ask you, how did you decide in the first place to have a watch like the Digitrend?
The watch is really different than the other one. So that's why I fall in love with this product since 10 years ago. And it came slowly to get the brand. And finally, we have the product.
Okay. I mean, is there, why that and not something else?
Sorry?
Why that particular style? Why the Digitrend and not some other kind of style?
Yeah, because they are mechanic. So that's why I would like to relaunch something like that. And the shape is really, I would say, related to the automotive stuff, you know. And as a designer, for design timepieces, it's great to have this kind of style.
Are you going to be also selling them online as well? Are you going to be selling them online?
Online, yes, and also we get some retailer. So our first retailer is Chronopassion. So in Paris, represented by Laurent Picotto. So it's really great guys to work with, and so retailer and also in the web.
Okay, let me ask you anything else you could tell me about that you think is important that I haven't asked about?
I was not ready for this question, but yeah, we put a lot of heart in this product, a lot of enthusiasm also. We do it for passion, and I hope the people will enjoy what we are doing.
Okay, well, this is the new watch I wanted to talk about. I hope you like it, or at least you found it interesting. And this is an opportunity to subscribe if you like. And until next time, this is Bill Sanders for Watch Art Side, the art and science of watch collection.